Yeah, Duane, I would like to share some experience from Congo that Mariam gave me, and it's about the new song. So she talks about a certain lady called Maris, uh, who is a Christian by birth, and she saw in her real side experience, she saw a new friend in the Congo there who is called Jean Bosco. And Jean Bosco had a bird, a very beautiful bird on the real side. So she was afraid to approach the bird, to come near the bird. And then Jean Bosco told her not to be afraid. Then Jean Bosco said, I am Yabu Sakabi. And when she said it was her first time to hear that name. So this, I just want to share it because this experience authenticates the existence of the real guides, which many people may think are just some fantastic creations. You see, so Jean Bosco declared that he was Yabo Sakabi, and this was her very first time to hear such a name. So it was her experience that she shared. So I don't know whether Duane has any comment on that.
Well, it's interesting that he was holding a bird. Yabo was, again, the real guides. When you have real experiences with the new you and you become the risk taker and start this journey, they are always demonstrating something. It's very subtle, and it would look like he's just holding a bird, but what's the idea of a bird holding it? Well, it's ready to fly, isn't it? So again, somebody has to mute here. Yeah, thank you for bringing that forward. And wasn't it too during the week here? Someone, I think it was Monday, was one of the Africans was doing the new you, and they had an experience where they opened a door. It was to a closet or something, or I'm not sure, and they saw a mirror in the door. Was that one of the Africans, Charles? Did you hear that one?
Yes, from South Africa. He doesn't know him.
Yeah, okay, and that's good. And as I've said many times in relationship, these things all reference ourself. It's going through ourself first, and the mirror is a reflection. First, we need to see ourself. We need to see what we have created that restricts us. We need to recognize that first, not just jump into, oh, gee, I'm enlightened, Jesus saved me, and all these things. These are cute stories. But people don't realize they're still tap-lined unconsciously, and it's not quite so. So there's a lot more to it. Anyhow, this is like that too. It is a demonstration of a possibility. It's always a possibility until you make it a reality. So this is so cool that one of the real guys, Yabusakabi, stepped up and was disguised as one of her friends or whatever the relationship is. I don't know. But they use these images for a particular as a demonstration. So eventually the individual figures it out for themselves. And there's many ways to look at it. It's not just one way. And if I explain something or somebody else does, that's one way. But there's many ways. And the bottom line is each person decides for themselves. Because it's a personal journey, first of all. And then it becomes a real journey. Into the real universes, and so each person decides that. Yes, go ahead. Was there more to that, Charles, that you wanted to say, or what? Go ahead.
Still concerning an experience during the new song, the group new song. Mariam says she heard the sound of a flute, and then she was surprised when others in the assembly also said they heard this sound of a flute. So this again, this Jean Bosco, who in the former experience, he heard the sound of a flute, and Mariam heard it too, very clearly. So they were asking, "Is this normal?" I remember in the cooperation days, they used to talk about the fact that when you hear the sound of a flute, you are on the soul plane, the feet plane, or you have arrived, you've reached whatever level and all the like. So I don't know whether Duane can throw some light on this.
Yes, we've all come through that, through these ideas, and yes, it's so. And it's kind of like driving down the street. As you go through town and out of town into different places, you hear sounds and noises, etc. And so, yes, these are particulars. And actually what it is, more so than just, oh my gosh, I heard the sound of the flute, I'm enlightened, I'm free, everything's cool. All right. No, it's really more than that. And that is that our awareness is having experiences all the time with the isness, life is the whole of life, because we are the center. Okay. We are actually the center. It's not that it's over there is the center of life, or up there and underneath our feet is the devil doing, dastardly things. No, these are funny ideas. We are actually the center, and we are experiencing whatever it is, the real you, or life itself, or the real guys. It just depends, expressing itself. For those individuals at a particular moment is really what it is. So there's more taking place than what is seen, but within our personal self here, because we're conditioned a particular way, as these experiences come through, we have a particular interpretation of them. And so again, this is where eventually we start to take a better look at what we've created, what we've decided, what we've been convinced about. And at the same time, yes, we're having these experiences. What's so cool to know is that it's not about anything you have to chase or struggle for. It's not about up or down or your higher self or all these things. It's an isness that's already complete, and you decide the shortcuts to take and to recognize. And so this is the fun part. So yes, I remember those days in the corporation and the different sounds. And again, this is where Paul created the God Worlds chart and the different levels, which was literal, in a literal sense, a very elementary literal sense. And there were different sounds on particular levels, etc. And it really doesn't matter where it comes from or is, or thinking this or that. Again, we start thinking and creating ideas like, oh, gee, I'm this, or I'm the 5th initiation, or I'm the 10th, or whatever. And those things are fine, but realistically, this is now where we focus on the isness. It's all complete, and we don't need these things that are limited and restricted. We don't need the chakras and the third eye and all these things, because again, the sky's bigger, and it's endless skies. And so, but you decide. And again, most people with what has taken place here, with all these paths from religion to spiritual stuff, and they got their ceremony and their little cute words and all these things, and they're humming and they're chanting and the different noises they make. Well, that's all fine. Okay, like babies as they grow up, they make all these different noises and gaga goo goo and whatever. Okay, that's all fine. We go through that process, but eventually we really make sense of things to where it's very clear, more so than just even just the sun shining. So yeah, I know that's a big explanation, but yeah, these things all imply But it's just, these are experiences that we're having, just like in the physical sense here. And the real side is right here. You don't have to close your eyes or go to sleep or whatever. It's all part of it. And it's just to where you become aware of what's taking place. Again, the idea of becoming more aware is what life is all about. And it's not that life is growing or you're evolving or any of these things. You're simply becoming aware, more aware of the isness life is, that is endless, because it's already complete. So there's nothing we can add to it, but at the same time, while we're in creation, we're experiencing whatever we are through our choices. And for those that, just like those that are here that want to learn more, as you start to see and recognize, stepping up with the real guides and standing real with them, supporting them, they will support you to where you become more aware and freer, because this is how life is. We all support each other. This is real survival, because life is about survival, and it's about your real awareness, because in the body forms, very temporary, and we struggle to where we forget we were here and we come back into a new life. Well, now this window of opportunity is here for a very short time, because who will present it next? It's a roll of the dice. It is right here and now. So again, yes, thank you for asking. Go ahead, Charles.
Thank you, Duane. Still another experience from Congo, and this one Mariam thought she was just telling me some interesting news. We're not focusing on the cooperation, but from time to time we share some experiences about them. So she told me that Eckankar, Kinshasa, had lost a piece of land that they were fighting over, and it was even broadcast on television that they had lost this piece of ground, of land. So it's interesting that it was broadcast on television, and so I'm the one who told Mariam. I don't know whether my interpretation is right, but I told Mariam that there was more to it than she was seeing. By Eckankar losing that piece of land, losing ground. It's actually losing ground, and I told her that the way I saw it was that Eckankar was actually losing ground, and the new presentation was gaining ground. You see, because look at the pattern of things. The corporation used to have their centers in the center of the city, but now they've lost everything and they are moving to the outskirts. And then this piece of land that they lost in the city of Kinshasa speaks a lot about this ground that they are losing every day, you know. And if you juxtapose this with what is happening to Mariam, where she's poised to open a center in Bandundu, and another again in a neighboring town. See, so you find that the new presentation is gaining ground there, and the corporation is losing ground. So that is what I made of. That is the interpretation I gave Mariam about this on this corporation issue, how they had lost a piece of land there in Kinshasa and how it was broadcast on television. And they had lost ground, and the new presentation was gaining ground. So I don't know whether that was okay, Duane. Maybe.
It was excellent. And so, yeah, have fun with that. And overall, yes, the cabal, because they're part of the cabal. Joni is reptilian, and she did the takeover there. And so she's part of the One World Order also. Most people don't know that, but she is, and that's being exposed. She's trying to hide it, etc. But it's her choice. You know, she's one of the little chosen ones by the Kalam God to destroy what Paul presented, when she's done a very good job. And the boys knew this, and it's all okay, because the process that she started as she came here with the influence and as crone, it's all okay, because it's part of a bigger wake-up, because eventually it takes agitation in a particular way as we go through creation to wake up, and creation is an agitation. You know, at times we feel good, but as we get older, it is so. But yeah, no, I would say that's so. And again, and it's very obvious. And again, the same thing goes with the bigger picture and the world controllers and the cabal overall, the elite, the monarchy, whatever they call themselves. It's all foo-foo, whatever. Everything they have, they've stolen. You know, the queen sits on a pile of what that she's stolen and created out of nothing. Well, have fun with it. Now you got to deal with it, because time's up. Just like the Queen of Orion that we confronted with the real guides, which we've put out there and shown people, etc. Because there is a shift, but we still have to deal with the mechanics and the operations that are still going on, because a lot of people are agreeing. But at the same time, you're seeing it little by little, because the new wave is here, and it's just very, very real. For those that can see it. And it's not that we're here to change anything, but again, it's very real and makes sense, and that is that as people become more aware, they give up their agreements with their old restrictions. It's just that simple. You see, you don't have to, we're not here to change the world, because we're not interfering with free will. We're not demonstrating. We are demonstrating, but we're not rebelling against the system like many people are. And actually, people are taught to rebel against the system, because it gives the system justification to make them even more encumbered and keep them as slaves. You see, that's how it works. It's purposely done. And that's why all these disturbances in the world that agitate people so that they will rebel and petition. And who are they petitioning? They're enslavers. Does that make sense? But to some people it does. And so we have a better real way of making better choices and seeing that, no, you don't need to do that. You just simply give up your agreement and create something that makes sense, that relates to the true reality life is. So yes, you're seeing it very well, and that's fun. All these experiences, and I want to reiterate the one that Marion shared months ago, to where she had a real side experience with one of the, I'll just say the new students, or one of the people in her group, where she gave them a watch. And so the idea is that watch time, because you only have so much time. And we only have so much time, and this is very real. Because, again, what people have decided is still always out there. And you always have to deal with it. So, just like the mama deer tells the baby deer, if you go out there and eat some grass, be careful, because the lions and the tigers and the bears are watching you, and they're going to wait until you're most vulnerable. And that's just how this place is. So we become more aware, we see how it is, and we can handle it. It's all okay. And there is real guidance there. There is a real protection. The best protection is as you become more aware. But again, it's all losing ground. And with the Queen of Orion gone, that's a step. There's still a lot of other things to deal with, but this is part of the adventure of life. All these things are fine. And just like James Bond in the movies, hey, when he's given an assignment, he signed up to be James Bond, and then when he goes into the office with them and he's given an assignment, you don't see him standing there going, "Whoa, that's scary, boss. Are you sure you want me to do that? I might not come back." So that isn't discussed, is it? No, James wants to go out there and live the adventure and take the risk, and he can handle it, and he usually does. And so again, and it's the same with us. We can handle this as we get through creation, because the best part is eventually recognize the isness and you stand real as a real being. But on the earth, this is the school of hard knocks, because we're in Rockville here, and this is just how it is. But we need this. We need to be slapped around and pounded to wake up, to eventually see this. So this is where we go through this process. And really, right now, we're really facing it on a world scale because of what is taking place. And so in Paul's day and before that, yeah, it was the spiritual ideas. It's like, oh, forget the world. Let's just, sit and meditate and hide in caves or on mountaintops. Let's meditate and let's just forget the world. And, those people want to struggle, let them struggle. Well, there's a bigger adventure now, and that is that stepping up and creating something that provides, a real benefit and something wonderful for everyone to have the opportunity to wake up. And so, again, that's why I created, from the new presentation, the Worldwide Educators. And we're just having a lot of fun with this. So we're into everything and creatively providing ways to show people how to wake up. So, yes, and in the meantime, your real side experiences, the boys are going to show you what you need, what is needed to be demonstrated to you to recognize more so, and all of this confusion and all this and that and all the things that are taking place in creation. It is all part of your wake up to see this. And this experience with the corporation losing ground, of course they are. They're already done. Joni just is still thinking that, oh, I can save this or whatever. No, she can't. She's already done. She's already in the Phantom Zone too. She just doesn't see it yet. She just doesn't see it yet. But again, let's let her go through her process. And she still has the opportunity to wake up. This is why I'm facing the world and everything. I've faced all these things on the real side, and it's coming out to here, etc. Because these people need the opportunity to, and there's a lot of them that do want to, give up, but they're still a little bit afraid, because once you join the club, the brats, the dark brats or whatever, they don't want to let you go. They're going to do everything they can to keep you. So it's kind of scary. So you got to take the risk, just like the whistleblowers of the world. And so this is how the world is. It's not what people think. It looks good, but it's to keep you here. And if this is where you want to be, that's fine. But again, yeah, they're all losing ground. They all really, really are. You just subtly watch the transition. And it's not that they're going to disappear, but let's see if they will wake up to what's taking place and then see us and take the risk and step up, do something real. So yes, thank you for sharing that, Charles. It's always fun, isn't it? Yeah, see what's happening.
Yeah, Duane, it's real fun.